no, we're live. Are we live? We're live or we're not live? Hopefully we're live. Are we live?
I said,
Oh
man.
The
Yo, man,
parties,
look, if the party's where you at, then let me know. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Let them know.
So,
Gotta let them know.
late ill kid at OneYoungsta holding it down, bringing that StreetGeek and NERDSoul. What is up, my people? Today, coming with another wonderful episode of Beats Vibes Life. And on this show, it's where I bring an album, he brings an album, and we hash it out, talk about how we feel. So before we get started, to my left, my esteemed colleague, Arckatron.
Hello, YouTube world. How are you doing? IG world is kind of going down right now. We have some technical difficulty with IG. So if you're on IG, you can't see me anyway. But if you're on YouTube, you can follow me on IG, Arckatron, and how I mean, and who I got to my right.
You can see me, your boy, NERDSoul. That's right, NERDSoul. And I want to give a big shout out to IG at ThatNERDSoul, ThatNERDSoul. I just crossed 1,000 followers. Thanks for hanging with me, chilling. That's right, hip hop and geek. We putting it together, having a good time all the time.
Oh yeah.
But today we got some sponsors today.
We got sponsors today?
We got sponsors today. We got sponsors on every episode, but today we got some new sponsors.
Okay.
One new sponsor, one old sponsor. Sponsored by, big shout out to both radio stations, W Balls. They're holding us down today.
Yep.
W Balls, that's right. WBALLS. And also WKYA. Both of those radio stations holding us down, keeping it real for us. We really, really, appreciate the support and the love for us. So
support your local radio
That's
station.
right, local radio support. So what's the album that you brought?
I brought the Dogg Pound Dogg Food album, which came out in 1995. It's a throwback, and I'll have some more information about the album. But what album did you bring? Just to say,
I got Ice Cube, America's Most Wanted.
America's Most Wanted. Yes, very yes.
Yeah, a very instrumental album and a very important album.
Yes.
So we're gonna talk about.
I think actually both albums are important because I have some stuff about Dogg Food, and just that whole era.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about the
cool. So which one do you want to do first? I think I'll go first.
All
right. So he came up with Dogg Food, and I was like, you know what, we should do a West Coast because we did the South last episode. So I was like, we can do the West. So I said, what about America's Most Wanted? We was like, cool. So America's Most Wanted is Ice Cube at a very interesting time in his life.
Okay.
Because this is a time like right around he's done with NWA at this time. And he's with the lynch mob at this time. And this is like the classic Ice Cube, the angry Ice Cube.
Yes.
And this is an angry album, boy. Look, I'm telling you, don't be around white people and listen to this album. You're gonna be mad. But this is when he was working with Bomb Squad and around Public Enemy a lot.
Yep.
So you had kind of like this, F the police plus fight the power kind of energy going into this. And that's one thing that I love about this album is the energy. The energy on this album is high. Like every track, Cube is coming at you. Every track. Now, I think it's good because it's good and bad thing that he doesn't let up. I don't think he really lets off the pedal on this album. Like it's very rare that he like eases up on the pedal on this album, but it can be a little much with this one.
Maybe for now, but back then, you got to think he's coming off a PE truck doing his thing. NWA.
Yeah. So at the time, it's right for this.
Yeah.
And even now, I think it's kind of right for some of this stuff because sadly, when you listen to this album, you're like, nothing's really changed. We can still be mad about the same stuff, but it's like, dang, he does not let up on this album, and it shows in his energy and his intensity, which I think is a very good thing for an album like this. His energy and intensity is super high. But what did you think about this?
I thought the same thing, like, cause I heard his album years ago. I went and downloaded Ice Cube's whole discography. So like, I listened to all the stuff that he had, and this one in particular was when I'm like, oh yeah, I could see the turn.
Yeah,
and I hear the influence, and the reason why I think the energy is that certain way because the beats were like very. There's a lot going on with those beats because it's a Bomb Squad production. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of high energy, a lot of samples like mixed and fused together, and it's kind of like
true.
They were basically they were alchemists. Basically, they were doing alchemy like with the samples. This is predating. What is this predating? This predates, I think, the samples.
Because this is
the way
90. I can't remember.
This is 90.
2, 3?
This is 1990.
I always thought it was 92 for some reason, but okay, so 1990.
Yeah, because 92, I believe, was Death Certificate.
Oh yeah, Death. Was it Death Warrant or Death Certificate? But you'll let us know in the Death Certificate. Yeah. But also big shout out to Thomas D in the chat. But
Thomas D, what up?
But yeah, continue.
So this is like 1990. This is like high, like everything's going on in terms of like the things against police, because this is all building
this is
up.
When it's sort of starting to come to a head.
Yeah, this is all building up to that. And then I think a couple years later, you got the Rodney King.
Yep.
Then a couple years later, you got the OJ case and everything. So it's building up to like F the police kind of era, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like, because NWA was the start of that era.
It was kind of like the ignition point.
Yeah, it was the ignition point.
Then you had Fight the Power.
Yeah, Fight the Power.
89. So what was it? NWA 88 and then 89? Was it, or were they both 89?
What was it?
NWA and Fight the Power.
Pretty much the same year.
Yeah, okay.
It's around the same time.
Or probably within 12 months of each other.
Yeah, so then you have, so then his energy is high, the music is high, and the content is very specific.
Yeah, very specific
content about, and then you just even looking at the title with 3 Ks in America.
You know
it's like, KKK's most wanted also, like we, the black people, are the most wanted.
Yeah.
That's how he's feeling at the time. To some degrees, it ain't that far off still. It's kind of almost like a Marvin Gaye where like it echoes. It still echoes. Like Marvin Gaye, what's going on is still echoing now.
Yeah, you can still listen to what's going on and still be like, it's a shame.
Ain't much change.
It's a shame that this album is still relevant.
Yeah.
Just like what is it? The Message. It's a shame that the Message is still relevant when it was what the Message was like 81, something like that. Whenever that was, or like 1980, whenever it was. Around then, for the Message to still be relevant today, that's a problem. Yeah. But anyway, back to Ice Cube.
But I think it all ties into it because like that's you got to think that's where he's coming from. Yeah. That's the angle he's coming from, and also working with the Bomb Squad and Public Enemy. Yeah. How could he not talk about it?
Yeah,
especially because he has experiences for being on the West Coast.
Yeah,
and the LAPD and everything like that.
LAPD and LAPD at that time did not have the best reputation.
They didn't have the good rep. They kind of still not a good rep.
No, they reeled it in slightly, but trust me, back then it was on some Wild West stuff back then.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like SWAT had it's like they got a brand new toy in SWAT and wanted to like use it out. You know how you get something brand new and want to wear it all the time or something? But the good thing about this is I felt like this is an album that he gave a voice to the voiceless, especially at that time. So it really struck a chord with me, like that whole kind of like speaking for those that can't speak, speaking truth to power, fighting back, and using his gift to be able to say something, and be, I guess, constructive compared to a lot of the rap at the time that was kind of aimless. But this is one of those joints that really kind of took a direct aim at, kind of at the government, at the I guess the police.
This is his debut album too, so like he set the tone for his career, which is kind of like his. Okay, I'll say this about his career. Like it kind of like you got NWA, but you have like his solo career. His solo career in terms of like content, it was at the highest in terms of the kind of content. And it kind of died a little bit down since then, if you think about it. Like the content, like that content, he did on for like that Kill at Will, he did it for the next like 3 or 4 albums. And then kind of like once like
because then he started to get more into like directing, acting, stuff like that.
I guess so image wise, like his image kind of changed a little bit there. not for the bad, but just like he
just
didn't seem like he addressed it as much as he used to. From the first album, but the first album for me,
straight up heat.
I'm trying to think, what were singles for this album? Like at the time, what Who's the Mac? America's Most Wanted, Endangered Species with Chuck D. That track I really like a lot.
The joint with Chuck D is really on point.
Yeah, that joint. Yeah, the Who's the Mac is pretty good too.
Let's see. Thomas D says, yeah, changes by Tupac still applies today. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff where it's just like we're smart enough and we have the resources for this stuff to not be relevant anymore. But that's a whole nother story.
You know other track I do like too? It's A Man's World too with Yo-Yo.
Yeah, and shouts to Yo-Yo who also watches the show.
How you doing, Yolanda? How you doing?
What up, Yo-Yo? How you doing? You know what I'm saying? That was nice to have on there.
Yeah.
Because he does kind of dip into some kind of like gangster stuff, like G-funkish.
Yeah.
Kind of. But he stays more on mission with America's Most.
Yeah.
But if I was to say this album, like put it up against another album at that time, I say that this is just as intense, just the energy so high, even for the songs that I'm not a fan of. You know, it like you talk about that energy, that intensity, and he has it here. I think him and Bomb Squad make an extremely great pair. Well, I guess not really pair, but you know what I mean.
But it's even interesting, like that I don't know the story of who went to who to work with them, because Bomb Squad's East Coast.
Yeah,
and you got Ice Cube, that's West Coast.
I wonder if it's a situation because remember at that time he had just left NWA, but I guess not just left, but he left NWA, and I guess at that time he was just like, I want something different. You know what I'm saying? I want because for better or for worse. At that time, with him being at NWA, anyone who was in music probably was there. He was with them.
Yeah.
So it's like, who would I go to for beats? Oh, I would go to Dre. Well, I don't really mess with Dre right now. We ain't vibing.
Yeah. I'm reading it here. So it said that he wanted to work with Dre, but the label nixed it.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, then in that case,
and Dre's cousin, Sir Jinx, which I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting about Sir Jinx.
Jinx was doing a lot of production with
Jinx.
With them too.
If you don't know Sir Jinx, you might know him. He used to have like a residency, I guess you could say, on Rap City. He used to DJ on a lot of Rap City episodes when they were in the basement. But yeah, let's see. Thomas D said, we have smartphones, but dumb people. Oh, the irony. Yeah, look, we ain't even gonna go there. But yeah, I think at that time he just wanted something like a new energy.
Yeah, well, he relocated to New York, so that's one thing.
He wanted a new energy. I think he wanted a new atmosphere.
And he took the rhyme book that he was gonna write, that he had for Eazy-E songs.
Oh,
so some of the lyrics and everything from it, and the energy from it was stuff he was gonna write for Eazy-E anyway.
Yeah,
and that's one that once they split, he just like, okay, I got this rhyme book.
I got this book full of
I want to work with Dre, but Dre's still tied up in legal stuff.
Yeah,
might as well. So he just relocated to New York, and that right there has a whole different vibe now. Yeah, that explains why
LA and New York are such different cities. Yeah. I mean, of course, even if you look in comics, like DC bases Gotham on New York and Metropolis on LA. Yeah. But
I never thought about that.
New York is
why did I never think about that?
Oh yeah,
Metropolis is LA.
Yeah,
it's Gotham is New York,
and New York is such
a
different city. Like LA is a big city, but it's still it's so spread out.
New York is the city.
Yeah, New York is like, because LA is so spread out. It's a very different vibe. Like out here, even in the corporate world, there's a lot of places where people show up at like 10 o'clock.
It's relaxed.
It's relaxed. Yeah, it's a lot more laid back and a lot more just easy. Maybe not easy.
It's going. Hustle, but not as much bustle. I guess I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. Like
it's people. Like they say, a New York minute. People are always moving fast.
Yeah,
always moving fast.
Every time, any time of the day too.
Yeah,
I was telling a story to somebody. I went to see the movie. Maybe it was Tropical Crash, but I don't remember what it was. So I went to New York from Philly. I went to New York, and then it was like I had to get to the bus like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And there was still the same amount of people in Times Square that it was at the daytime when I got there. I'm like, why didn't people go home yet?
Savannah's in the house. What up, Savannah? What up?
What up? What up? What's going on?
Man.
Yeah. So just like it was weird. Like this city is the only city that I know in the United States that does not sleep.
Yeah,
because every city has like a sleeping time. Like
because LA definitely sleeps. LA is probably done after.
LA sleeps, but there's an underground scene.
Yeah. I forgot there is. LA, it's weird.
There be parties that be starting at 3 o'clock in the morning.
If you're tapped in, there's parts of LA that doesn't sleep.
There's an underground scene.
But LA as a whole
goes
to sleep around, I'd say like 2,
1, 2,
something like that.
1, 2, yeah.
But then there's this
that underground scene.
Yeah, there's this underground scene.
3 to 7.
There's these clubs in LA where if you go, you're gonna see some stuff. Because remember, LA has Hollywood, which is a whole nother weird vibe. Because New York has television, but because New York is mostly TV, LA is mostly film, but it's weird. New York doesn't have that kind of creepy Hollywood vibe, which is a whole nother thing.
No.
But it's like, he goes to New York. New York has a whole nother feel. It has more of this boom bap thing. You're not with the G-Funk, but I think his West Coast flavor and rhymes and that ferocity with the Bomb Squad is like a perfect match on this. And it's a darn good album. You're gonna be mad at the system by the time you finish this joint.
Yeah, it's one of those movies like if you watch like any kind of movie like The Roots or like Get Out or those kind of movies make you like think I'm questioning things now.
Yeah.
It's an awareness. It's an awareness piece.
Yeah.
It's an awareness piece. It makes you more aware. It makes like your sense a little bit more heightened. Like, because some of the stuff has happened to us. It happens to people that we know.
Yeah.
So then you have those stories, and it's like Ice Cube is crystallizing this story and selling it to you. Like this, you already know. Yeah. It's like a story
He's like making this statement so the whole world can know what's going on instead of it just.
And I'm really surprised. Like, I mean, back then they took a little bit more risk than they do now in terms of artists. Like artists do, but that is a risk.
Yeah.
For a career, for your
very first album,
your very first album to have the letters KKK and America's Most Wanted. Yeah. That's now it's like what you could never do nothing like that, and it's like
not as your first album.
I like that
on a label. You know what I'm saying?
I like the artists back then they were allowed to be more bolder than they are now.
Yeah, because you think America's Most would be like his like third album or something like after he built up like a little goodwill at the at the label.
This is first.
Then he's like, let me do this mad album, and he did this angry joint.
I think it was fast. I think it was necessary because I think all like albums like that, it's a pivot point where like from that album he did it, and it's like okay, what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, and then you have that. Then he had Higher Learning where you essentially played himself.
Yeah.
Then you got I can't remember when Boys in the Hood came out. Boys in the Hood was 94-ish, something like that. Trying to remember how much later. But he was playing those roles where he was definitely talking about the Black experience.
All right, so Boys in the Hood was first actually.
Oh, really?
91.
Oh, 91.
So this is right after.
I don't know why I feel like Boys in the Hood was 94.
Higher Learning was 95.
All right, cool.
You have like CB4.
Trespass. Yes.
So these are movies he just was acting in. This is before he started. The first movie he did write, produce, and direct. Produce and screenwrite was Friday.
Yeah. But he definitely started making movies or being involved with movies that were about the Black experience.
Yeah.
And
Higher Learning and definitely Boys in the Hood and Higher Learning definitely like those two were.
And that's why. And I'll say this outside of this album before I give my scoring. Outside of this album, when you look at movies like that and mixed with the statements he makes in his music is what elevates him above. Because now he's becoming a social point of regard for the people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He's become more than just a rapper. He's not just a rapidy rap guy. Because I thought about an album and I was like, I want to cover this. I'll say it after the show. I was like, we need to just cover some rapidy rap albums where it's like, dang, these guys really got skills, but this album is just just full of skills, and that's
skills and nothing really.
Yeah,
I think we
really
I
touching
think
an
we
emotional
covered one
point.
already. I think
Oh,
we
really?
covered one already.
Who would you say?
That was I.
Oh yeah, well, but see, that was.
But that's why I said. But that's why I also said I wanted him to do an album with that Will Sessions,
with Will Sessions
too, so we can see if it's gonna be a rabbity rap album.
Yeah, but
he never did.
With this, Ice Cube comes with it. The beats are rough. The energy's high. It's probably Ice Cube at his prime or prime-ish, because then you have Death Certificate after this, which is also which we'll probably end up covering sooner or later.
It gets more into the lynch mob stuff.
Which is another hot album. But this joint, I'm gonna go high, man. Even though looking back at it, it's hard because some of the rhymes are old and stuff like that. Like the rhyme patterns are old, but his intensity, his ferocity that he comes with, and also the memory. Because I didn't want to be caught too much in nostalgia for this.
Yeah.
But his skill level is still high on this. And Bomb Squad is coming with it on these beats.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this joint 8.75. It's high for me. I think this joint is good. And I think it's a great first album. And it's also a representation of him, the people, and the world around him. This joint is hot.
What's Savannah saying over there?
Savannah saying, she's just saying what's up to Thomas.
Oh,
Thomas D said Higher Learning was dope. I think Tyra Banks was in it. Yeah, Tyra Banks.
She did.
Yo.
She did.
You gonna die. You gonna die. You gonna die. Yo, man. Who's that Michael Rappaport that shot the dude?
Was it Michael Rappaport or was the other guy?
I think it was Michael Rappaport that shot. But anyway, like, look, man. Omar Epps ran up them steps so good.
He was drag. He was athlete. You know what I mean?
Yep, he went up the steps, and he was wearing Timbs. You know there was some real running. Yo, he was. Yo, I had to die like that.
Yeah, that's messed up. But so my scoring for the album, because I'm a fan of content. Content is not, and that's like shaking things up a little bit. Yeah. So like I'm a fan of Public Enemy. I'm a fan of like Nas, like early Nas, like what he used to talk about. I'm a fan of like Wu-Tang, like the messages they had in the story, like Tears and stuff like that.
Wu-Tang is for the children.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So this for me is high, supremely high, because without this album, you don't have many albums after that cover these kind of content.
And also that kind of influence. Okay, I see where you're going.
This album has influenced a lot of people's mindset when they rap and what they talk about.
Yeah.
Some of them, they may listen to and be inspired in a different way, maybe more on like the gangster side of it, more like maybe fighting back side of it, more like on the Malcolm X side of it.
Yeah.
But
and this is also the time where he his religion and all that. That's a whole nother. The man of Ice Cube kind of changed as well. Yes.
So I would give this. I'm giving it a 9.
Word up.
Solid 9.
Production. You know what? I'm
production is crazy because like I love. I don't say busyness, but I like when things are moving. When it's high energy, I like high energy production.
And they definitely have a lot of high energy.
Yeah, this album probably has like 100 samples in it, like simple, easily 100 samples in it. Like it's ridiculous because there
is a lot going on with these beats.
Yeah, and it's just like,
but in a good way.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? In a good way, not like
it's
where
good
it's like
this music is great for a show.
Yeah,
it has a high energy, like where it's like it's nonstop. It's like constant. It's constant, like. Man, even the speed of it was high, was fast.
Thinking about an album like this, imagine performing an album like this. You probably lose 5 pounds just running around the stage, like all the sweat. Because and he had the curl too still, so it was drippy, boy.
Yeah, this is an album that keeps you forever young. This is like Bruce Springsteen, right? He's like still performing
because you perform this joint, you're gonna be running side to side, high fiving fans. Jumping on the speakers and jumping off the speakers.
Jumping in the crowd.
It's
crowd surfing. This is that crowd surfing music.
Yeah, this is definitely, and this is the type of album where.
Well, it's also the club might get messed up too.
Yeah, this is the type of album where, security and cops be cool. That's all I'm saying. This be cool.
Yeah.
Don't nitpick people in the parking lot with this album. Just be like, let it slide. Don't be like, like, oh, you can't do this. Just let it slide. Because this is not the album. Because you're going to have about 20, 30 people ready to rap. Like, it ain't the time for that.
Yeah. So that's my score for it.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll talk about Dogg Pound.
All right, so we got the D-O-double-G.
So I chose
DPG.
Dogg Pound, Dogg Food, which came out in 1995.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like just during the West Coast East Coast beef.
Yeah,
that's why I wanted to
this
tap
is
into.
Sort of at the 95.
It's like the start. It's the
would
start.
You consider that the beginning?
It's the start of it.
Yeah, it's kind of like sort of the
because the Source War was that year.
Yeah. So yeah, you might as well say
August of that year.
Yeah. But see, most of this was recorded before then, though.
Yes, but I'm saying this is where it all, some of the stuff was like videos and stuff were shot after the Source War.
You're right. You're right. So yeah.
So
this is kind of like at the beginning of the East-West beef, which is something that, wow. I'll say this before we get, because I know you got the whole story of it, but if the media did not exacerbate this whole situation, we might still have Pac and Big right
or one of them.
Or at least one of them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because, MTV, BET, The Source, Vibe,
them reporting them
they made it more than
them reporting it distorted it. No rhyme intended, but them reporting it, the amount that they reported it distorted and made it seem like it was bigger than it actually was.
Yeah,
because literally, like, what was the beef over?
It was two people couldn't really get along, but might have been able to squash it.
Incorrect. It was actually Tupac waging war against
Biggie. Yeah, it really was. Yeah,
he wanted to sell records. He told it to Biggie. He's like, yo, what? Because Biggie's like, yo, what are you doing? Like, we was on the track. Yo, we're Brooklyn at. What are you doing?
We cool.
I said Mac 11 is about 88. You know, like,
we cool.
And you from Brooklyn?
Yeah, it's like, yo,
so
cool.
it was Pac maybe not liking something that Biggie was doing, but he was kind of doing it as like a show.
Yeah,
he was.
And you know what? Now that I think about it, if you look at it in terms of wrestling, it makes sense. Yeah. Yo, man, look, let's drum up this thing.
He's the highest.
Let's drum up this thing.
Yeah, I remember
both of us, WrestleMania type stuff, and it'll be great.
In the same analogy, I remember Cameron talking about that to Jim Jones. It's like Jim was like, yeah, let's start up a beef, whatever. And Cam wasn't with it, but Jim still went with it. And it's like they got beef, like they're in the same crew. Like how in the same crew? So it's the same kind of thing where like the one person not in on it.
Yo,
and then people, and it's more about the people around them that's not in on it either. So then it's like, yo, he got beef like that. All right, let's forget this dude.
And that joint,
that escalates. That escalates.
Escalated.
But back to this album, which I'm gonna talk about. The reason the West Coast, East Coast stuff is because of the New York track.
Yeah, New York is on this album.
We're gonna get to that. But
kick it down.
And in terms of like this album, for me, like it's a Death Row album. So it's if you listen to Doggy Style, if you listen to Chronic, this is another continuation of that.
Yeah,
that theme. That G-Funk theme, because his dad's doing the full production on this album.
Yeah.
And then pretty much it's just Daz on the production.
Corrupt writing all the rhymes, pretty much.
Corrupt from Daz on rapping. Snoop Dogg is all over this album in terms of either background vocals or has main vocals on it. But
he doesn't take he's definitely stepping back. And it's funny, when I was younger, I was like, isn't Snoop in this group?
Isn't Snoop in the Dogg Pound?
He wasn't even on the album cover.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, isn't
Snoop in the Dogg Pound, right?
And then like
they got beef?
Right? And then I saw the album, the music video, and I was like, oh, okay. So why is he only on like, because all right, he's all through the album, but he's really on like 2 songs. Like he's on the album, but it's like but you never know. He could have been touring, diminished capacity with whatever. Who knows?
No, but he was there. Like I looked at like the background. Like he's in pretty much every track.
Oh,
he's just like doing background vocals.
Yeah, it's like he's doing
stuff like that.
That's why I say he's really on like 2 songs.
Yeah.
He's on the whole thing, but he's kind of only on 2 songs.
Yeah. But he definitely was present in the studio when this album was being made.
Yeah.
And so it's like not the underlings, but like it's the guys who didn't get the full shine on the Chronic and on Doggy Style.
Yeah, they were accents of those albums.
Yeah. So that now this is just their own album, and then everyone else is an accent. because I think Dre
Yeah.
shows up on one track and like Snoop is on the, Snoop is featured on a couple
Snoop
tracks.
is there.
You have the whole full fledged. You got Lady of Rage. You got Trey D. You got Miss Chalet.
Trey D.
You got Miss Chalet, and you got some other people. I don't know who these people are, but
yeah, Miss Chalet. It was nice to hear Miss Chalet's voice on that joint.
Oh yeah.
On the sneak, I know her speaking voice is not.
It's bizarre.
It's
bizarre that one voice came from one and one came from the same person.
Because Miss Chalet, I don't know if her voice is still this strong, but Miss Chalet could sing.
No,
that's sing for real.
You know what it was?
But her voice is so strange.
Like it's like her voice came from an alternate universe. Like it's like why is your what?
She sounds
like Minnie Mouse or something.
She sounds like that girl that's in your church that can blow, and you're sitting there every Sunday like, why are you not in the studio? You know what I'm saying? It's like it's just that
she
girl
had a strong voice, but it sounds like her regular voice is not a strong voice. It's like
her regular voice is like, what? Hold up, you what?
It's just weird. Like, can you just like sing? Use your singing voice like to talk?
Yeah,
like is that? It's just very weird.
Sound like she was in. It would sound like she was.
Because the first time I heard it was like
musical every day.
I grew up in the era, but I didn't really know the Death Row artists like that.
Yeah.
So I wasn't like familiar with everybody and their name and everything. So
true.
I didn't learn about her until like she started doing Vlad TV videos. I was like, wait, what?
Boy.
That's her voice? No.
Oh boy.
She must be playing this up. Then I started going back and started researching. Like, no, that's just her regular voice. I'm like, this is bizarre. But I'm back to the Dogg Pound album. It's a G-Funk album. It has many themes from the Dogg Style album and the Chronic album. Corrupt is rapping his A off, basically.
Yeah. Corrupt is killing it.
Daz showed up. Daz has a solo song or two. But yeah, it's an interesting pairing between the two. It's almost like a Havoc and it's like almost like a Mobb Deep in terms of like like who's rapping. Like Corrupt will be the prodigy, and Havoc is even though Havoc raps. Yeah, he's like the Daz because he's doing most of the production. So I give him like on that level, and it's just funny that's where one of the beef started. Yeah. But so like going on the tracks, whatever. New York stands out for me. Yeah. The Smooth also with Snoop stands out for me. Yep. Let's Play House stands out for me because Nate Dogg is in the background. He's doing Nate Dogg makes an appearance, like quietly makes an appearance. Even on the next track, don't like Dream About Getting Paid. There's a couple.
That's probably about it.
There's a couple songs that are funny, just funny, like. Track 12, everyone, if you're looking at the album, track 12 and track 13.
What's 12? Oh, yeah.
Because what I do like, this is one thing I always like about albums, when songs flow into the next song.
And this one does
always a fan of that.
This one does that.
I think even the intro flows into the first song, Dogg Pound Gangsta. I like when songs just flow into each other and you didn't realize the track changed. Love that. Always a fan of that. These two tracks I'm talking about, I can't really say them out. I mean,
there's some bomb things.
And until if we all do certain things.
If we all have fun.
And then there's the bomb things. So it's just funny, like it's keeping on with the themes of like pushing the barrier of like what you can say on the mic.
And also that kind of like same G-Funk Pimpalicious kind of,
and that stems from the Ruthless days. If you think about it, like without NWA, you wouldn't have Death Row, Dogg Pound, Dre, Snoop.
We might have to run a Ruthless lineage one day.
Okay,
because you got like Bone Thugs and then Bone Thugs and all their people, and then the
because that was a Mo Thugs, and there was more people with the Bone Thugs other than the regular crew.
Yeah, so you got tons of, but back to Dogg Pound. Do you want? I'll talk about how I feel.
Yeah, you talk about you.
And then I want to get some of your history too.
Okay.
I know you got some.
Yeah, we go.
So this is an album that is a roller coaster ride for me. There's songs that I really like, and songs that I'm like, y'all just mailed this in. Like I feel like it's G-Funk, but maybe they came in late, or maybe they themselves were tired of G-Funk.
Yeah,
wanted to change.
Because you gotta think this is 95.
Yeah,
this is after Dogg Style and
Chronic and Dogg Style are done,
and pretty much Death Row is in kind of becoming in turmoil.
Yeah. Right now, because 95 right now, Death Row is starting to have 95 is when you're starting to get all these articles and rumors about like, yo, people getting beat up at death row. Like what's going on at death row? Did someone get shot at death row? Like this mad stuff you start hearing. But this album seems like G-Funk. This album sounds like a lot of songs that got cut from other albums.
I can see that.
They're not particularly bad songs, but they don't grab you, and they don't stand out at all. Now the ones that do stand out, the couple that I'm like, yo, you get that feeling back, like, yo, this is what's up. But I do think that these are kind of like, it seems like a G-Funk cutting room floor album. Like a lot of this stuff was just left, and these songs didn't really have a home, so they made their home at the Dogg Pound Dogg Food album. Yeah. Which is, I guess, good, or could be good or bad, but it ends up being an album that is middling for me.
I agree. I agree. I mean, I'm with you because I was waiting for the album to end.
Yeah.
I decided there was like too many songs now. Like the album ran too long. It was trying to do the length of like a Doggy Style, but it just like didn't have the songs to match it.
Nah, not at all.
I agree with you.
It didn't have the I don't know if it didn't have the punch or the push or whatever it was.
It didn't really have the singles or the songs really for it.
And I wonder if this is a situation because like when we talk about Dre, we talk about how much Daz was there working with Dre.
This is like Daz's first real.
This is Daz's first real solo outing without Dre.
Yeah.
Could it be because Dre wasn't there to add that little spice on it?
It's definitely a lack of Dre, definitely. Like because if this album had Dre, it would sound.
But it's weird because Chronic and Doggy Style without Daz is completely different too.
Yeah.
So maybe is it that Daz is now removed from those days? He's a little older. He's a little different. His ear isn't the same. Maybe he's not feeling.
I think now we're getting what Daz would really sound like now. I think we're getting what Daz sounds like by himself. This is the first time we're hearing it.
Because see, I was all through it, and see, the funny thing is, you're not feeling that album when you start thinking you're listening to the album while you're listening to it. You're like, what's wrong with this? Because the whole time I was thinking, is it that Thomas D said bomb kitty cat? Yes.
Yes, bomb kitty cat.
Bomb kitty cat. But I was wondering, is it because he's different now and he doesn't really want to make this, but he feels that we have to make it because we're Dogg Pound and this is the album they are expecting from us?
No, I think
is it because he's just not as good?
I think if you just take Dre out of the equation and that's what it sounds like. Because this I think for Death Row, I think it's the first time the album was produced. But the album was produced and there was no Dre production. Yeah,
there's none. It's just Daz.
I think it's the first album. And again, the album, the label, I believe, was going through a lot of turmoil. Because Dre dropped the album in 92. Snoop dropped it in 94.
93? 94. All right, 94. I don't know if it's 94. Yeah, maybe 94. But I feel like those were like 92 and 93. But you're still talking about way before. Like this album is like 2-3 years removed from the hot, Death Row days.
It's November of 93. I think it's the week later after Thirsty Chamber and Midnight Marauders, from my memory.
Wow.
A week later, from my memory.
So you're looking at something that's 3 years removed, essentially 3 years removed from like the good times at Death Row. So the whole time I was thinking, like, is this a situation where Daz don't really want to be here, so he's just making stuff just so
I think
is it a situation where he's not as good as I thought he was?
I don't think he's as good as you thought he was. I think that's what it is. I think Daz not at that time he wasn't as good as you thought he was. Because after that, he's made some hits for Pac and other people, but at the time it's like his first like.
And maybe it's the nervousness of being on your own.
I don't think it's I think this is just the music he made when he didn't work with Dre. It's not even nothing against him. It's just like
Well, I mean, because I try to look at all like, is it that he grew out of that and this isn't really him no more, and he's trying to be something that he's technically not? Because it's like, yo, man, this is what they're expecting. We're Dogg Pound. We got to make this type of music. I
don't think they thought it through.
Because Corrupt is a different type of MC on a lot of these beats where you're like, yo, like Corrupt is killing it on the mic, but this isn't really G-Funk type of swag.
And maybe the G-Funk came from Dre, not from Daz.
All right, you know what?
This is what happened. You remove the G-Funk and you won't have G-Funk. You remove the G-Funk Godfather and you don't have G-Funk.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm thinking too, like going too deep into Daz's mentality when Daz was just like, yo, this is the best I had.
This is what I do. This is what I do.
Yeah, this is how
I had to prove myself. Yeah, because even if you listen to like Pac's production when he was on Death Row, there was some Daz in there too. So like even actually Daz the singles, I believe some of the singles were Daz production on Tupac's All Eyes on Me album, which is literally the next year.
All Eyes on Me has some bangers.
Yeah,
it got some show enough heat on it.
So what's your grade if you were giving it a grade? Were you done? I don't know if you were done.
This is middle of the road for me, and I know I'm living in LA right now, and I know
PL, come after him, PL.
PL, get ready to get.
Say it. This is Dog Food now we're talking about.
We talk about Dog Food.
He said it.
This is the middle of the road for an album for me. I'm gonna have to give this a 5.
He's giving it a 5. A 5er.
I had to give it a 5, man.
It don't matter. I'm giving it a 5.5.
you just want to.
It's not middle of the road. It's like a middle of the road, like a little over. But I wanted to talk about the New York thing.
All right, go ahead.
So I researched this maybe like a week ago. That's why I wanted to do the album, just because I had to like re-listen to the album. It's been a while since the album.
Okay.
So the New York thing is funny because the video shoot was in September, from my memory, or the single was released in September. But the video shoot, they were shooting it right after the Source Awards, pretty much. Okay. And Biggie, all the Pac hits were made by Daz, damn near. Yep. Thanks, BL.
Thanks, BL.
So the Biggie was on the radio station, like, y'all gonna let them shoot here? Because this is right after. When I say the Source Awards, I mean the Source Awards where
like 1 week before this.
This is basically Suge saying, y'all want somebody all up in your videos. If not, come to Death Row. You know what I'm saying? And it's also when Snoop was like, y'all, and he had the cane and whatever. It's like, y'all don't like Death Row in West Coast or whatever. So that's where the beef kind of some animosity started between the Death Row artists and everyone on the East. So then you have the New York video shoot, which is happening in New York, and Biggie's like, y'all gonna let them shoot here like that? Yeah. So some people showed up and started doing a different kind of shoot and started shooting. Yeah. And after that, they changed the concept of the video, just kick over the buildings and everything, and that's where that came from. So the video was the song was actually supposed to be an ode to New York, not a diss to New York. Wow. Most people don't even know about that. So if you listen to the song, they're doing like, hey, what they say, dude? Hey, peace God or whatever. They're actually not mocking him. They're actually like bigging him up. Wow. But because the whole video shoot, everything flipped. Wow. And that made the response of LA, which is the original version, which is over that beat that Daz made. Yeah. And it has CNN and Capone Noriega and Mobb Deep. Yeah. So that, and then there was a remix version by Molly Mall, whatever, on the album. But the original version was them rapping over the original beat. So that's where that whole thing started. That's where the whole that particular beef, because there's the Pac and Biggie beef within that same year. Okay. And then the Who Shot Ya, that whole thing too, but the Who Shot Ya. But my thing with that is all timing. Puffy's timing with certain stuff was very questionable. Almost like he egged it on. Oh, because Who Shot Ya was right after the Quad City shooting.
Let's be for real. I know when it comes to the East-West beef, and on IG and YouTube, we talked about MTV News, BET, Vibe, and Source really pushing that and kind of like exacerbating it. Puff and Suge did a good job at their Vince McMahon. I mean,
I think if they knew, I think if they knew the consequences of the later on consequences of the action, they would have chose different route. Yeah, you gotta remember these are all 20 to 30 something, like young 30, 20 something people.
You see, money's flowing. It's driving. Imagine now. I'll say this. Imagine how much worse the East-West beef would be if it was now. Because it wasn't it wouldn't be just MTV and BET pushing it. You would have all the hip hop heads on Twitter and on IG pushing it.
It's the same thing I was talking about back then with Ice Cube. Back then, those dudes were bold, man. The stuff that Pac was doing, the stuff that Diddy and Suge were doing, that was bold stuff where like stuff will get you locked up. Who getting locked up nowadays? Who really doing something bold? And that's stupid bold. I'm talking about. I'm not talking about stupid. I'm talking about
smart bold, like bold making a statement.
Because Pac was talking about, yo, I'm gonna have a Death Row East. I'm gonna start signing all these artists I ain't messing with.
Yeah.
Because he was friends with Tretch from New Jersey.
Yeah, you're right.
So like
they were cool.
He had ties with a lot of East Coast people anyway. So I'm like, and Corrupt, I think Corrupt was born in Philadelphia. From my memory.
Corrupt is from Philly, I think. You can check us on that.
Born in Philly. I don't know if he was raised there, but he was born.
I know he's from Philly.
Ricardo was born in Philly. That's what I'm saying. So there's some East Coast ties there.
Let's see. Thomas D said, do y'all think Cube set up the blueprint for people like Jay-Z as far as expanding outside of music? Okay. Well, yes and no. Here's why. Yeah. Because at that time it's weird. That 1990, 91, 93-ish kind of area, you have Fresh Prince starting to go outside. Yeah. You got Queen Latifah starting to go outside. You got Ice Cube. You got LL Cool J. LL still solving crimes on TV right now. So you got a lot of rappers starting to push outside because of those contracts. Let's be for real.
But maybe
because they were all in these horrible contracts that they was making like $1 per album.
I'm thinking Thomas D started. I think he's talking about expanding like beyond not just movies, but like I guess yes. Q. Like, I would agree with him.
Like being, I guess, more of a mogul. I guess you mean something like that. Yes. Yeah, because Ice Cube is definitely people always talk about folks that got money. Cube got way more money than y'all think.
Yeah.
When you think of all these movies, all the royalties that come from them, all these contracts that got to be signed. Whenever you watch Friday on Hulu or Netflix or something, guess what? They had to pay to have it on there. Like, yo, Cube making more money. Cube got way more money than y'all think.
Jay-Z waiting as long as he did to sign that to be like in his first contract was kind of smart. Because Jay-Z was around the 91, 92, the Hawaiian Sophie with Jazzo.
Yep.
But him not signing back then to those with a bad contract made him start,
it gave him a little leverage.
Gave him leverage because
matter of fact, he was still independent when Ain't No came out, right?
Yeah, he was still independent.
Yeah, so he had a lot of leverage. Because they essentially had just a distribution deal, right?
Yeah, it was like, but it wasn't even. It was like a partnership. Because Dame, you got to think it's Dame mentality of like, I'm the boss. I'm always the boss.
Yeah,
you can't tell me what
for
to
better
do.
or for worse.
For better or for worse. All I'm saying is his energy is correct. Yeah, it's just the ways it goes about talking about it. Kind of like,
and Dame be lying. Dame be lying on himself a little bit too, but but yes, in general, business wise, Dame has always had a very clear and a very positive vision for setting up yourself for success.
Business wise, I would like business wise. So when that first deal, it wasn't even. It was more like a partnership with with Priority actually. This is before Def Jam.
Okay. See, I always thought their first partnership was with Def Jam for distribution.
Priority. I believe the first album, the initial release was on Priority, and then there was a Def Jam deal that was struck.
Okay.
And
they had a lot of leverage because Ain't No was huge.
So PL said he was born and raised in Philly, moved in 2016.
Okay, so he kind of got half and half.
That's why
East Coast and West Coast.
That may be why he spit like that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of times when Corrupt is on Dog Food, I'm like, he's killing it, but he doesn't really match this beat. Yeah, because the beat is a very kind of rider flow, and he's like, killing it.
But he's always been. You think about on Doggy Style, like he's always been like that.
Yeah, but it seemed like
he never was a rider beat kind of dude.
But it seemed less so in maybe because they were accents. That's why. Because they were in those albums, they were just accents, so it didn't seem. He wasn't on it as much. When he's on it, the whole album, you're like, man, this dude is killing it. But it's not that kind of like DJ Quick kind of rider kind of like flow.
No,
he's very.
I never saw Corrupt.
If you listen to him, he's very, very neat, very, very kind of like mathematic, very succinct with his rhymes and very on point. And you're like, whoa, okay, structure, killing it, but structure.
Yeah.
And
I always like
wavy kind of chilling.
Like he was the one guy that was like really rapping. Like out of everyone, he was the one that was rapping. Really rapping.
Yeah, definitely.
Like Corrupt was going in.
Yeah, Corrupt kills, man.
Yeah, he was just an interesting guy. I knew there was an East Coast flavor to him. That's what it was. Like being in Philly, man.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to rap.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to know how to rap.
Yeah, you can't. I don't think there's not many whack people from Philly, and I'm not even from Philly, so I'm not.
Well, whack is subjective.
Yeah. Sorry, what I mean by there aren't a lot of rappers from Philly who don't have skills. I'll say that, like rapping skills. Now, when you get to music that I want to listen to, that's different. You know what I'm saying? Like, because because I grade on rappers on do you have skills and do you also have music I want to listen to?
You don't want to listen to Gilly and Major Figures, man? Yeah, that's us. No,
Major Figures. I ain't heard that in a minute. Major Figures.
You remember that joint, man?
Oh, I remember now. You brought that back to me because
she said, "Watch it," because she in Philly. So she said, "Why? My bad. I'm just saying.
You know, we got love for Philly.
We got love for Gil. We got love for Gil Smith. We love Gilly. Gilly the Kid.
Oh man,
right. Thomas doing that at the end of the
Thomas D said, "Well, at least he's not bad like Silk the Shocker." Man, Silk the Shocker is
we've talked about Silk the Shocker is, in my opinion,
Silk the Shocker is the musical version of Take Your Little Brother With You. Like, when you got to go somewhere and they'll be like, take your cousin, take your little brother, take your because basically your mama don't want you leaving your little brother over here. All right, look, I don't want to hear none of y'all mouths. I want peace. Take your brother with you.
That bad.
And Master P was like, all right, man, look, come on.
He's that bad.
But he would, if you look at it, he was kind of the pretty boy of the crew though. Because C Murder wasn't, he won't know Idris Elba.
No, he was not. And neither was Master P.
Master P won't know Denzel.
Yeah, but at least you want
So they needed Silk. They needed to put Silk up front. Silk was going to bring ladies in.
He wasn't going to.
Oh, man, we got to do a No Limit episode.
Do we?
Just for fun.
I want to just talk about Mystical, man.
We can do a No Limit episode and just break down all of those. Oh, yeah. We can just break down all of those.
I mess with Fiend, though.
Ooh.
I like Fiend.
But straight up, No Limit episode.
Mr. Magic, remember Mr. Magic?
Where all we do is break down those wonderful album covers.
Mystical.
It's like,
or
like people just got Photoshopped.
But we got we can do Cash Money too, both of them.
Oh yeah.
And 3 6 Mafia. But all had that kind of like.
I can't put them with.
Have you seen 3 6 Mafia's covers?
Oh yeah, the covers. Yes,
no,
I'm talking about the music.
No.
Oh, the covers. Oh yeah, covers. Covers is like, yo, we just got Photoshop in the hood, B. Yo, check it. I'm putting diamonds everywhere.
So PL asks, who's the best rapper on Death Row?
Doc?
No, he's Doc. Doc, that's DOC or Corrupt.
Doc or Corrupt?
I don't know much. I don't know much Doc. I'll tell you right now, I don't know much DOC
or Corrupt. That's tough.
And it's Corrupt for me either
because their styles are so different, but they're both very they're both very skilled rappers.
Wait,
because DOC wasn't like Easy, where he was Easy wasn't really super writing his stuff anyway, but DOC was like a writer, like a rapper who was writing at the same. Man, it's tough. Would I DOC or Corrupt? That's tough because they're both writers and they're both like they're both what I would consider MCs. Like these cats is rhyming.
See, the thing about the Death Row
I'd say Corrupt probably lends more to what I like in a rapper, but I can't take nothing away from DOC.
The thing about DOC,
DOC put in work.
Did he ever rap on Death Row?
That's a good point.
Because
he wrote.
He wrote on
but
Death
was
Row.
he actually speaking on Death
He
Row?
may have been on. I think he was on the Chronic, right? Was he on the Chronic? He had to be on the Chronic.
I think he did have something on the Chronic. That's a good question.
He was on Ruthless. Like he was on Ruthless,
yeah.
but no one can do it better. That's
yeah. See, Thomas D said he needed to bring the vocals in. Thomas D said, "Bring your kid to work day."
You talking about something
Oh yes.
Oh.
But yeah, so now of course, any more dog food stuff, any more story stuff for dog food, or
no,
can we move on to?
I just want to talk about that's the one.
Because I'll go see hit me up. I'll go see. Big shout out to I'll go see.
Oh, where he hit you up at?
He hit me up on IG.
What did he say?
He said, "Yo, when you get the chance, look up
Lil Nas X." That was him who told you about it?
Yeah. He said,
"Look
up."
I'll go see.
Guys, look, all of y'all. I want y'all to look up Lil Nas X, "Old Town Road." That's the name of the song. Old Town Road.
Don't do it.
Show
IG fam, don't do it.
He said, "Look." He said, "Show it to Arckatron too. I'm gonna show you after the show." He said, "Y'all got to comment on that one, man. Straight hilarious." He said, "It's like a merge between country and rap music," and it kind of is. And the guy is singing through his joint. Now, Arckatron ain't heard it yet, but I'm gonna say it's like he's coming for the country version of a Nate Dogg spot. It's like he's country, but he's coming for Nate Dogg spot.
But we already had country and rap merged twice with LL Cool J and that other not Garth Brooks, other guy.
Yeah, what
accidental
Nelly
and the other guy. You know what I'm talking about. Paisley Brad Paisley was LL Cool J. Brad Paisley and LL Cool J. That accidental.
But this is the hardest doing it in one by itself.
Remember that song? Accidental. I gotta play that too. Since you're gonna play that, I'm gonna play that for you.
We're gonna play that together.
Because somebody in the chat tell me accidental something. It's accidental. It's
Star Drew in the house. What up, Star Drew?
What up?
He said, "Did you see Ride Along 2 or 1?" I've seen both Ride Alongs.
Accidental racist. That's what's called. Accidental racist. It's
accidental racist.
That's the top accidental racist.
Wow.
Because it's about don't disrespect me because I have a hat on.
Oh, okay. So Nelly had that joint with was it Nelly and Garth Brooks or something?
Yeah, Nelly and Garth Brooks had not Garth Brooks, Nelly and somebody.
Nelly and somebody. Somebody is
Nelly.
But this dude is different, yo. It's different. This is a different cat. You know what I'm saying? Tim McGraw.
Yeah, he had a couple jokes with Tim McGraw.
Lil Nas X was actually on the billboards and they took him off.
Why did they take him off?
Because they say he ain't country. I think it's because they racist and they hating on him. But guess what? He got 14 million views on YouTube.
It could be an accidental racist.
Oh, it could be. Yeah, it could be
accidental. Sorry,
accidental racist. They didn't even know. But yo, it's funny because the song is actually kind of good. It's actually kind of good. I'm listening to the song. I'm like, you know what? I'm not mad at it. I'm not waiting in line like Phantom Menace or something. But
you wait in line for Phantom Menace?
Yeah, waiting in line for Phantom Menace.
Whoa. Oh, because you didn't know how bad the movie was going to be because you had to go to
because we were waiting in line.
Because we had the internet like it is now. Gotcha. I was like, wait, what? You waiting in line for Phantom Menace? Excuse me?
Remember, Phantom Menace was episode 1.
I know.
It was their first coming back. Everybody waited in line for it. I watched
Phantom Menace. I watched it.
Yeah.
I didn't wait in line, though.
Everybody who wanted to see it in the theater that was a fan, they waited in line because they were excited for Star Wars returning. We did not know until we went in there and we were like, hey, I don't think this is what we wanted. And you know what? I'll say this.
You loved Jar Jar, didn't you?
I'll say this. The prequel trilogy isn't as bad as people think it is.
Oh, I rewatched it recently, like end of last year. I rewatched all 3 of them. I disagree.
This is how I describe the prequel trilogy. Cool moments wrapped in bad movies.
There's cool moments in it, though. I'll give you that.
Cool moments wrapped in bad movies.
But there's a lot of bad movies.
Yeah, there's a lot. Because in the second one, in the episode 2, that whole detective part with Obi-Wan finding Jango Fett and everything, following the clues, that's cool. The movie, not that great. But Obi-Wan following these clues of old dead Jedis and figuring out what, cool. The movie is not really cool. So it's like
the fighting is not that bad in the movie.
Yeah,
the fighting is pretty good. Like,
so it's like cool moments wrapped in bad movies, and that kind of sets your expectations. Like,
and also, I did not need to see Anakin Skywalker how he became Darth Vader. Sorry.
Oh boy.
Not a fan. I'm not a fan
when
of
they was rolling around.
I'm not a
frolicking
fan.
in
I'm not
in
a
the
fan
meadows.
of this. This is the reason why I'm not a fan of prequels. I've never been a fan of prequels because like, oh, this is how, just like Solo.
Yeah.
Just like Solo. Oh, this is how you did the Kessel Run. Like we don't want to see it. I don't care. Like I'd rather use my imagination.
I actually think Solo is a little bit better after watching it out of the theater.
No, Solo is not that bad. So
Yeah.
like it got a bad rap because
because people
they were expecting different things.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were expecting though.
Yeah. One thing that I like about it is Solo shows you, even though he puts on this exterior, Solo shows you how sentimental Han Solo is. You know, with the dice, with the ship, there's a lot of stuff. He's a big softy. Like he tries to play it, but you're like, hey, so you and Chewie, oh, you and the ship, you and these dice, you and Kira and all. Like, he's one of them dudes that on the sneak tip be watching like romantic comedies by himself.
But you can see also why.
But he don't tell nobody.
But you can also see why it got hardened too. Why when we saw him in episode 4, why he was the way he was.
Yeah,
because what he's been through.
It's an ice box.
Yeah, basically. I'm so cold. 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 I'm so cold.
Look, look, hey, look. Look, guys, hey, but Lil Nas X, I'm telling you, that song.
I'm just mad at the name though. I'm mad at the name though. Lil Nas X.
It's not a bad song. It's like he took like the Lils, then he took a rapper that we respect, Nas, and then put X on the end, like he's like Muslim as well. So he put the Muslim, the brotherhood on there.
Merging all the worlds together. I guess.
He put it all together, and he sung country style.
I'm so cold. I'm so cold. I'm so cold.
Oh man! All right, guys. So look, that is our time. We had a good time watching. Doing this. We love you guys. Thanks for coming out. Check out America's Most Wanted if you haven't heard it. Dog Food, you can kind of let that slide. Is there any more? Not? Oh no, we done with all the dog food.
Nothing else. We talked about much as I could. We exhausted as much as we could with that. But this ain't over there.
Stardrew says Solo plays it clean when everyone else is in the hood is stealing. Oh, that's cold. Everybody else in the hood stealing. He trying to that's another scene in Solo when they showed the ground war and how crazy that was.
Yeah.
That was like, yo. Yeah. Like, he was like, I want to be out.
I think the Lord and Miller, the part about him meeting Chewie, that stayed in the movie. That was I think that was from the original concept of the movie. Because cool. They got fired and whatever.
Yeah, and when you're watching this movie, it's kind of like, okay, how much was already there?
Yeah,
how much?
Some of it was they left some of it in there.
We'll never know. We might know like 10, 20 years from now in some kind of book or something or an article. Where they, but for the most part, we ain't.
Yeah, there was no CGI mustache, so we can tell what's what.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, guys, before we bounce, to my left, I'm joined by the enigmatic Arckatron.
Gotcha. Hey y'all can find me at Arckatron.com. That's ARCKATRON.com.
That's right.
And where can they find you?
At ThatNERDSoul. That's right. ThatNERDSoul. Big shout out to everybody on Instagram. I'm at 1,000 followers. Maybe a couple people might have left. It might be at 999, but I'm at 1,000. In my mind, I made 1,000 last night. Then I lost some. Then I came back, made 1,000 again today. So look, I'm 1,000-ish. All right, I'm in that area. Also, if you're gonna be at WonderCon this weekend, I will be there. Come say hi, get on the video. Let's talk. Let's chill, chat. All that good stuff. But until next time, and next week, we're on a new day. Next week, we're starting on Wednesday. So we won't be Thursday no more. It's going to be Wednesday at 7-ish, depending on the traffic in LA. Should be 7, but sometimes it might be like 7:30. We're going to try. But look, traffic, LA.
Just
work with ready.
Work with us a little bit.
Work with us.
Work with us. Sorry.
Work with us. You know what I'm saying? Just vibe with us. But until next time, thank you for chilling. Big shout out to Stardrew. Big shout out to Thomas D with that kitty cat. Shout out to Tavana. Shout out to And big shout out to people that usually hear Alan Lewis. Big shout out to Max Evans. Big shout out to Little Miss Chocolate. Big shout out to
PL. Parker Lewis is in the house. We got Tavana again over here.
All right, cool.
And we got Protus Sounds jumped in here a little bit.
Oh, word.
And we got David. Wait, I know that person. What's going on, David? We got he up in the house. Got a bunch of people that came up over here. Like 4 or 5 people came up over here too. So
and big shout out to Algo C.
I
would talk with y'all about Cardi B, but he probably
what happened with Cardi B? Oh, the whole her saying that. Wait, what was it again?
She drugged people and robbed them.
Oh, yeah.
But look, don't worry about all that. Look, just Cardi B, she committed some crimes and
allegedly. Was it alleged or wasn't it?
It's not alleged. She said she did it.
Oh,
it can't be alleged.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the news. So I didn't know if it was alleged.
Be like, yo, man. Be like, yo, I took that money over there.
Wait. So she admitted to it?
Yes. She said like, yo, I used to drug dudes and rob them. It's not allegedly no more. You said you did it.
That's the thing I like about Cardi B. She honest with us. I give her that.
Rap snitches.
I mean, maybe this was like 10 years ago.
It's
statute of limitation.
Is there statute of limitation on grand larceny? I don't know. Look, just don't steal nothing.
I don't know about larceny was the group from Rough Riders days. I don't know.
Look, just don't steal nothing. Don't drug nobody, and just if you do that, don't tell on yourself.
Well, if you don't do it, how about that? Not even if you do it, don't tell on yourself.
Well, yeah, don't.
Because Bill Cosby told on himself, indirectly with his comedy.
Just stop snitching. All right, stop snitching on your own self.
Spanish Fly, remember
that? He snitched on himself too. Don't snitch on yourself. All right, and then don't do something that's snitch worthy.
Do you see the perpetrator? Yeah, I'm right here. Mess around, get the whole label sent up for years.
Yo, rap snitches.
Oh, I got some information about Doom too, but
oh, word? All right, so guys, until next week, which will be on Wednesday. Big shout out to our sponsors, W Balls. Big shout out to WKYA. Until then,
and also WDEF.
Oh yeah, WDEF. All right, and from us to you, we're just saying.
Shout out to your local